What comes between the narcissist's discard and hoovering? Well, for a lot of people, it's a whole lot of baiting. So in today's video, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what baiting is and what it looks like. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel, we talk about emotional abuse, spirituality, and self-development. Today, we're talking about narcissistic baiting. This is usually when the narcissist baits you back into their life, usually after a discard. But narcissists also like to bait people into arguments or circular arguments. So how does it work? Well, if they're baiting you into an argument, they're going to bring something up that they know is going to infuriate you. Narcissists are masters at finding your triggers and pushing those buttons. And usually you'll find this type of baiting when a narcissist really needs to get a reaction out of you, because a reaction is a form of supply. Even if it's a negative reaction, it's still a form of supply. Because if they can get you to react negatively, then they know that they still matter to you, that they're still pushing your buttons. Because if they didn't matter, then you wouldn't fly off the handle, you wouldn't engage. So a narcissist may do this when they're bored, or they may do it when they need to rope you back in. They need to feel like they matter. And they may also do it in front of other people so that you lose your cool and you look like the one who's the problem. The poor narcissist has to deal with you and your anger, when in reality, that's exactly what they wanted to get out of you. But unfortunately, other people aren't going to see it this way. And really, we are responsible for our own reactions. But this baiting is really meant to bring that negative reaction out of you. So the next way that a narcissist will bait you is by posting inflammatory statements or pictures on social media. So if you've just broken up, they might post pictures with a new person. They might make comments about how they're so in love, or how this relationship is so much better than the toxic one they were in the past. Narcissists move from people to people very quickly because they need supply. They can't be alone. But it's really the public nature of these new relationships that draws attention. They discarded you. And maybe the next day, maybe a week later, they're posting pictures clearly in a new relationship. And they're either doing things that you guys did together or things that you had planned to do together. It seems very targeted. So a natural reaction might be hurt and also anger. And really, that's the intended result. Another way that a narcissist will bait you into getting back involved with them is through trash talking. I'm talking about a smear campaign here. This is where they are smearing your name. They're saying awful things about you. Maybe there's some truth to some of it. Maybe there's not any truth to any of it. Maybe it's just outright lies. But because you're in a defensive position, these lies and these slams against your character are out there, and other people are hearing them. Other people are probably believing them. You are naturally going to feel like you have to defend yourself. So there you go. As soon as you do that, you're sucked back in, because then it becomes a back and forth. Then it becomes a constant battle to defend your name, because the other person's not going to stop. And even if you do not engage with that person, even if you refuse to talk to this person, the fact that you're out there trying to work against that person's smear campaign means that that person still has power over you. And that's what they want. They want to know that they still have power over you. So another common way that a narcissist will bait you is by reaching out to your friends or family. Now, this could appear innocent on the surface. It could just be a, hey, how are you doing? But it's usually more than that. It usually involves a lot of conversations about you and prompts the other person to talk to you about it. So that's how the baiting looks when the narcissist wants you to think of them favorably. Now, if they don't want you to think of them favorably, or if they want you to hurt, this type of baiting is going to look more like flirting, with your friends or family member. So this person could move on with anyone, but they choose to target somebody who's in your inner circle. And clearly they do this because they want you to feel hurt and angry. And they're looking for you to make that confrontation. Another form of narcissistic baiting, and this, in my opinion, is the worst, is using children to relay messages. And this can be done directly in, tell mom this or tell dad this, or it could be done indirectly in doing things that they know will get back to you through the children. And this is often done through breaking some ground rules that you had set. Maybe you had always agreed that you would handle things a certain way. So this would be completely breaking that agreement. Or maybe it's just making poor parenting choices in general. And so it becomes something that you have to confront, that you feel that you cannot let it pass without confronting the other parent. Another way this may take shape is kind of like a combination with a smear campaign. It's saying negative things about the child's parent in front of them. So that puts the child in the middle. It all puts the child in the middle. And really, the child is the one who suffers most in these situations. So those are a few ways that you may experience baiting with a narcissist. Now, some may get creative, and there are definitely other ways that you can experience baiting. But if you're ever feeling like you're being prompted to do something, that the other person's behavior is making you feel like you have to reach out, maybe that you have to break your no contact rule to reach out to this person because it's an extreme situation, there's a good chance that they are baiting you. So why can't they just reach out to you themselves? Why the song and dance? Why all the drama? Well, because if they were to reach out to you, then that would put more of the power in your hands. By baiting you instead, they retain the power. And they're pulling the strings to make you do what they want you to do. So you're forced to open the conversation. You're forced to show your hand. So they know exactly how you're feeling and what you're thinking before they even open their mouths. So what do you do if someone is baiting you? And unfortunately, there are times like when you're dealing with children that you really are feeling like you don't have a choice, and you may not. You may have to at times take the bait and have that conversation. If you do, if you're finding yourself in that situation where you have to take the bait and you have to have that conversation, I would suggest getting it on record somehow, maybe doing it through email or text. Because if the baiting continues and if things escalate, you never know what's going to happen, and having that in writing could come in handy. If you've gone no contact with this person and they're baiting you, I would suggest going over the reasons why you've gone no contact in the first place. And thinking about, do you really want to open this can of worms again? Do you really want to enter back into that toxic cycle again? Is it really worth it to you? And if you're dealing with a narcissist who is in the habit of baiting you into arguments, awareness is going to be your best friend. Remind yourself often that this is what's happening, that they want nothing more than for you to take the bait. Remind yourself that you've probably had these same arguments many times before with this same person, and they've probably gotten you nowhere. So the end result of taking the bait is not going to be satisfying in any way. It might feel like it's going to be in the moment. It might feel like you have to do it, but when all is said and done, you are almost definitely going to regret doing it. So I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more videos like it, be sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.